What are the elements and principles of art? Well, today we're going to start with just the elements. The elements of art are the ingredients of art. They are the stuff with which you have to have in order to complete an artwork. You cannot create art without one or more of the elements of art. So let's talk about what they are. The first one is line, and there are 5 different types of lines that we will use. Vertical, which implies strength and dignity, like people, like trees, like anything, any kind of statue, anything that is tall and vertical has a sense of strength or dignity. Horizontal, which are lines that run side to side, like the horizon line, which brings to us a sense of peacefulness or calm. When we are horizontal or laying down, we are at our most peacefulness or calm. Diagonal or slanting lines, these are lines that are somewhere in between vertical and horizontal, and for that reason they suggest a feeling or a sense of tension, something unresolved. Curved lines, which suggest a feeling of movement, flowing movement. And zigzag. Zigzag lines create a sense of action or confusion. Color. The 3 properties of color are hue, which is the name of the color, value, which is how light or dark that color is, and intensity, which is the saturation of that color, how bright or how dull that color is. When we talk about color schemes, we're talking about how colors are used in combinations with one another. Analogous color schemes are color schemes that are side by side on the color wheel. For instance, we might say green, blue-green, and yellow-green are all near each other on the color wheel. Similar colors or analogous colors. Warm and cool, so we can divide our color wheel in half, where we talk about the warm colors that create in us a sense of warmth or heat or action, and the cool colors, which tend to make us feel calm. Monochromatic. Monochromatic is a color scheme that uses all of the tints and shades of a single color, all of the light to dark color versions of that color by adding white or black to that color. Shape, which is a 2-dimensional thing. It has height and it has width. We see some examples of those here. Geometric shapes are ones that have names like square, circle, triangle, rectangle, oval. Those are geometric shapes. So those are shapes that are created by using a ruler or a stencil or some kind of a drawing tool. So there's some precision to the look of a geometric shape. Organic shapes are shapes that are more free-form or irregular in nature. They are less likely to be symmetrical. They are more likely to be a combination of curved and straight and angled lines. So they are not regular or even, and they're often found in nature. Forms. How are forms different than shapes? Forms are 3-dimensional, so they have depth. A square, which is a shape in 3 dimensions, becomes a form, which is a cube. A circle becomes a sphere or a cylinder. A cone is a result of a triangle in 3 dimensions. So we see those shapes, when they have depth, become forms. But just like shapes, we can have both geometric, which are created, again, by using a ruler or drawing tool, and we can have organic forms, which are not regular or even and are often found in nature. Think of a cloud, for instance. So on the left, we see more organic shapes, and on the right, we see more forms rather, and on the right we see more geometric forms. And here we see something that is a really interesting combination of both. So this architect got very creative and combined some organic elements to what is often pretty geometric in nature, which is this building here. Space. When we talk about the space within an artwork, we're talking about how that page or that canvas is used. The part of the picture that is recognizable, that is the focal point, the subject of the artwork, is called the positive space, the shapes and forms within the picture. And the negative space is the space around it, which is often just as important as the positive space in creating an interesting and successful composition. And then there's texture. When we talk about texture, there's actual and there's visual texture. Actual texture is how something actually feels. If we can reach out and touch it and it feels rough or smooth or bumpy or sharp or cool to the touch, those are actual feelings of the surface. But oftentimes in an artwork, we have what's called visual texture. So that's what it looks like it would feel like. A painting can be painted in such a way that it looks smooth as glass, even though it's actually just going to feel like paint if you were to reach out and touch it. So when we talk about texture, make sure you understand whether we're talking about its actual texture or the implied texture that the artist created.